Okay, so hi. Today's video is about my best books of 2021. I know it is super late, like everybody has done this already, except for me. But yeah, I just wanted to do it as well and upload it as fast as possible. These are technically kind of my book recommendations because these are the books that I enjoyed while reading in 2021. I need to say that there is no specific order. I'm not going to rank them. It's just the 4 to 4.5 and the 5 stars kind of. So it's just that if you want a legitimate ranking, it is just going to be that. Yeah, I'm not going to rank the others because it's very hard for me to pit two 5-star books against each other when their genres are so different, you know. I'm gonna start with my honorable mentions first because I'm not going to include any rereads in my best books of 2021, but these are just so good. And last year was the first year that I started my booktube channel, so I don't want to count rereads because I want it to be like a new experience like the books that I read in 2021. But these books are also so good. I have mentioned most of these books actually a lot of the time. It's just a video specifically logging all my favorites in 2021. So the first honorable mention is going to be Toto-chan, my favorite non-fiction ever still, and it is about Toto-chan, who is also the author, and Toto-chan's experiences while studying in this elementary school. This elementary school is really special. It's almost magical because there is this fantastic principal there who helps Toto-chan, who is such a great educator, and just documenting Toto-chan's experience in this school, and it's in the form of short chapters about Toto-chan's life. So it's very interesting. I'll link the vlog up above where I read this book if you want my in-depth thought. But that's my first honorable mention. My second honorable mention is going to be Six of Crows, and it is such a beautiful edition. I can't believe that I forgot to put this as one of my favorite covers of 2021. Like, what am I doing? It's super good. And also, the second season of Shadow and Bone has officially started filming with the fantastic castings of Tama, Toya, Nikolai, and Wylan. And I'm so excited to watch the second season, although they just started filming. Six of Crows, I'm sure I don't need to talk about this anymore, right? It's about a heist, about these 6 individuals that come together for this heist, and they just form friendships and relationships along the way, and it's so good. So yeah, read it, please read it, and you can look at all my tabs. Again, the vlog will be linked up above. So that is all for my honorable mentions, only 2. And now we're going into my best books of 2021 that I have read. The first book that I want to talk about is The Traveling Cat Chronicles, and it's actually a translated work. It's so good, oh my gosh. So the story, if I'm looking here, it's because I'm looking at the synopsis, okay? This book is from the perspective of a cat called Nana. Like, how interesting is that? So Nana is on a road trip with his owner called Satoru, and they're on this road trip to meet people and see whether they are willing or they are able to take in Nana the cat. And we don't know why Satoru is giving Nana away, and we will find out eventually. This story is about Nana's relationship with the owner Satoru and their journey while traveling to meet all these different people, and it's so cute. Like, have you read a story from the perspective of a cat before? If not, please read this. It's super cute. The way that I think I read this via audiobook and the ebook at the same time, and the way that the narrator narrates Nana and the way that the author wrote Nana, I feel like such a great depiction of what a cat would actually be like if we can actually understand cats, you know. So interesting, and it's just very heartwarming. I love books about animals, so yeah, this was a great read for me. Yeah, that's all I have to say about this book. My next book is going to be Bookshop on the Shore. Back when I was still attempting to keep a reading tracker on my journal, my planner, it was one of the contenders for the best books of 2021, and it made it in because it's so cute. Okay, so this is actually part of a series, but I feel like you don't have to read the first book to read this book because it's just like the characters will appear in the book, so it's only if you want Easter eggs, that kind of thing. But other than that, I think it's really fine if you don't read it and just read this one. This book, I also listened to it via audiobook and read the ebook at the same time, and the audiobook is so cute, okay, because the narrator narrate the voices of the children in this book, and it's so good. The children are so cute, and the relationships with the children and they form with this single mother Zoe who comes to take care of them. It's so good. Okay, single mother Zoe, she has a son called Hari. Zoe accepts this job description that is about caring for 3 gifted children because the children's widowed father is a wreck. So when Zoe arrives with Hari, the 3 gifted children that she's tasked to take care of are very against Zoe because it's like this new adult and new stranger that came into their home, so of course they're going to be against it, right? Zoe comes into their lives and brightens up their lives, and you know, it's just so cute. And it's about books also. Bookshop on the Shore. The next book that I want to talk about is Daughter of Smoke and Bone. Okay, so I finally read this trilogy in 2021, which was, I believe, at the start of 2021, and it's kind of like an old trilogy that has been around for quite long already. 2011, oh my gosh, yeah, and it's like really good. So my favorite is still the first book. I can't really remember my thoughts on the second and third book, but I really remember liking the first book, which is Daughter of Smoke and Bone. It's about how we are in this fantasy world, and around the world, black handprints are appearing on doorways, scorched there by winged strangers who have crept through a slit in the sky. And we follow this young art student in Prague who is known as Karu. She fills her sketchbooks with monsters, and she also helps out this person with errands on collect human teeth. What a beautiful concept. She one day meets this angel known as Akiva, and so they have a relationship with each other, and it's about how this fantasy world, I really am not doing a good job of explaining this, but it's really beautiful. I just really enjoyed this, and considering the fact that it was published in 2011 and I still enjoyed it as much as I did, it has stood against time, you know, because some books, they were good in its time, but when you revisit them or when you read them like now, it won't stand as much. But I really enjoyed Daughter of Smoke and Bone, so please read it. Okay, my next book is going to be A Boy Called Christmas, which I recently read only in 2021 December because of that Christmas video that I did, which I will link up above. So this book is a very cute story. It's a middle grade. We are following this boy called Christmas. It's about this true story of Father Christmas, about how he becomes Father Christmas. And it's really cute. If you want to read this, I really recommend reading it nearer to winter or near Christmas period because it's so cute. Yeah, and there was the book movie adaptation also, which I have watched in that video as well, and it's really magical, and you just feel a lot of hope and emotion for this main character, which I really enjoyed. And it's by Matt Haig, one of my favorite authors that I discovered in 2021. How many videos have I linked already? If I reach the cut limit, it will be down below, okay? Next book is Crying in H Mart. Okay, Crying in H Mart, I believe my second favorite non-fiction of all time. It's so good. Like, I read it last year for that Goodreads nominees video, and it's by Michelle Zauner, who is part of this band known as Japanese Breakfast. This story is about her journey after her mother passes away. So she talks about her experiences with her mother and all that. There's a lot of trigger warnings for this book. From what I caught while reading it is death of a parent and terminal illness, but I recommend you to read up more trigger warnings by other reviewers before going into this book, because I may have missed out some. So this book is really beautifully written because she talks about grief, is very strongly written, and also the descriptions about the Korean food that she ate while growing up and what she likes now even. I really love it a lot, and it's just a very beautiful memoir about growing up Korean American, about losing her mother and forging her own identity, and it's just such a beautiful story. So please read it. I'm interested in getting a physical copy for myself soon. Next book, it is going to be Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This book over here, I talked about this book in the statistics video also, but okay, so this book is a fantasy sci-fi dystopian novel where we follow this world where humanity has progressed past the point of natural death, but because population numbers are still rising, people still need to die. This scythedom was formed where these honorable people are tasked with this huge responsibility and honor to officially glean life. We follow Citra and Rowan, who become apprentices under one scythe, which is not normal and has never happened before them. We follow their journey on being apprentices and skip ahead if you don't know anything about this, but it is on the synopsis. So basically, they are eventually tasked or instructed that one of them has to glean the other because it is unnatural for this scythe to have two apprentices. So this world is really amazing because this world that Neil Shusterman has created is so interesting to think about, because what if this is actually something that will happen? I don't know. It's just very thought-provoking for me. It talks about humankind way back when, which is our present day, and how they are thinking, oh, how is it possible for all these things to have happened? Because now they are so far past that stage that our present day for them is kind of like a myth now, and it's so interesting. So I am already on the last book, The Toll, but yeah, this was definitely one of my favorites of 2021. Next book, it is going to be The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, who also wrote A Boy Called Christmas. So he has 2 books in my best books of 2021, which is quite amazing. So I've talked about this book way too many times already. The Midnight Library is about this main character called Nora, who one day decides to attempt to end her life. So trigger warnings for suicide attempt, suicidal thoughts, depression, so on and so forth. Instead of dying, she ends up in this midnight library where she is able to experience different lives where she could have lived if she had made different choices. So it's about parallel worlds and all this kind of thing. And the message, I really like it. I again know all the criticisms this book has faced, like it being too cheesy, too repetitive. The writing is not very impressive, but to me it really hits something and I just really love it. And I hope one day that I'll be able to reread it, and hopefully it's still a favourite by that time. But yeah, this was one of my favourites of 2021. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This one was 5 stars for me. Did I mention that Midnight Library was 5 stars or so? This was 5 stars or so. I read the whole trilogy this year, and I have to say that the trilogy declined for me. The first book is my favourite, and it's so good because there are a lot of twists in this book. This one is about Pip, also known as Pip. She grew up in this small town and something bad happened like 5 years ago. So basically, this schoolgirl Andy Bell was murdered by Sao Singh, her boyfriend of the time, and everybody believes that Sao Singh did it except for Pip. So under the guise of this school project, she ventures out to reinvestigate and find out what really happened to Andy Bell. And it's so creepy, so many twists happen, and it's such a good YA thriller, and I really love it a lot. You can see my tabs here. A lot of people have loved the whole series, so it might just be me, but this was my favorite. Second last book, it is going to be Sorcery of Thorns, which was also 5 stars. So Sorcery of Thorns is about this YA fantasy, and it's not like high fantasy, it's very easy to understand the world. But basically in this world we have magical grimoires, so it's a book about books, and we follow Elizabeth, who has grown up in one of Ostermere's great libraries where magical grimoires whisper on shelves and rattle beneath iron chains. So one day something very bad happens, and the warden that she deeply admires is found dead in the library, and the library's most dangerous grimoire is released. People think that Elizabeth has done it, so she has been framed for this thing that she did not do, but because of this she has to travel with this sorcerer known as Nathaniel Thorne and his mysterious demonic servant. And after that she finds herself entangled in this conspiracy, and it's really, really good. I really love it a lot. I really love the characters in this book. My favourite character of 2021 was the demonic servant is in this book, and also I forgot to mention this in that statistics video, but also the principal in Toto-chan. If you're wondering why there's no tabs, right, I got it after I read it because I wanted to add it to my shelves. One day I'll reread it and you will see this with more tabs. I really love this a lot. I have bought Enchantment of Ravens in the hopes that it will be as good as this. The last book that is my best book of 2021. I think most of you who watch my videos will know by now. It is The Love Hypothesis, and it was my favorite romance of 2021, possibly my favorite romance of all time, because I don't think I've rated another romance book 5 stars. So this book is about Adam and Olive, who are in this university, I believe. Olive is studying for her postgraduate degree or her PhD or something like that. Adam is this professor, I believe, in that institution. And so how they get entangled with each other is because Olive has lied to her best friend that she is dating somebody, because she wants the best friend to get together with a guy that Olive had a thing with before, but she doesn't like the guy anymore, so she just wants to convince the friend to get together with that guy. So she tells the best friend that she is dating somebody at night, when she said that she was on a date in the school laboratory, and she sees her friend walking down the corridor. So in order to escape confronting her friend, because her friend will be like, I thought you were supposed to be on a date, you know, she kisses the first person that she sees, who is Adam, and so they enter into this fake dating relationship. and it's like very cute. And because Adam is like the trope, I'm mean to everybody but you, and there's also fake dating, so they're both very awkward with each other. It's not like enemies to lovers, and they're just very awkward because they're in this relationship, and it's so cute. I really love all the signs that was mentioned in this book. And also Ali Hazelwood has a new book coming out this year, which I'm super excited for. So yeah, it's about being in STEM and how it's like to be a woman in STEM, and it's like a lot of discussions around that also, as well as being a cute romance. And it's also, if you're interested, it's also like a Star Wars based story, but I didn't have any problems with it because I don't watch Star Wars and I still really love the book. So yes, those were the few, was it 10? I believe it was 10, the 10 books plus 2 honorable mentions of 2021. I'm not going to do a worst books of 2021 video because it's just going to be me saying I don't enjoy it, it's not for me, that kind of thing. I'm just going to tell you if you're interested. So my worst books of 2021. Again, all these opinions are my own, okay? Subjective opinions. Everybody has different reading opinions. The first one, Yellow Bird Sings, I gave it 1 star. I can't even remember what it was anymore, but I remember that I really didn't like it. Unravel the Dusk, oh my gosh, it was the end of this duology of Spin the Dawn, and it was such a meh ending that I really just preferred the first book over Unravel the Dusk. The Cost of Knowing was one of my disappointments also of 2021 because I went in with so much expectations because I really love Slay, who the author wrote as well. And I also talked about this in my yearbook freakout tag. Gone Girl, oh my gosh, I gave this like 1.75 stars. I don't understand the hype for it. Don't think I'll ever reread it. I didn't enjoy it. As Good as Dead, oh my gosh. Some of these I have talked about on my Instagram if you're interested in following me there. As Good as Dead was the last book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, which I've mentioned that it was on a decline for me. So the last book was my least favourite actually, because I felt like the way that the story progressed was verging on unrealistic for me already, so I wasn't really into it. House of Salt and Sorrows, I think it was mostly because I didn't really enjoy the genre of it. I believe it's magical realism. The Maidens, the same author who wrote The Silent Patient, I really didn't like The Maidens. A lot of people don't like The Maidens also, but it didn't do anything for me, The Maidens. Ocean at the End of the Lane is also something that is not a genre for me, so I read it and I didn't really enjoy it. And the final book is Spanish Love Deception because I just didn't vibe with this book. If you want to know about my journey reading it, it's in the Goodreads video. Thank you for watching. If you're still here, comment the book emoji then, because we're talking about books, right? So if you want you to let me know that you have watched all the way, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.